Hi everyone, my name is Jose and today we're at the Fremont Wellness Center and Community Garden, and today we are here with Johnny from the LA Compost. So tell us today, Johnny, how did you get started with LA Compost? What did you do? How did you get started with everything?
It's been about 2 years and a half now that I'm with the organization. I'm born and raised in South LA. The organization, LA Compost, is a very strong believer that to make an impact in the community, you have to hire within the community and part of the community that's living. I've been privileged enough to be mentored by amazing people. One of my mentors was really connected with Michael, our director, and she put in she put in a word for me, and I was offered a job with LA Compost. Now I manage about 9 hubs here in South LA, from community hubs to regional hubs. We invite community to come and be present and welcome them to have the full experience of the food cycle. And when we say full cycle, we mean the composting. It's what we do here. We educate people on how to manage their waste and how to transform that into a resource.
As a minority, what is something that we can do to get started? How can we get started?
So us as LA Compost, we provide a lot of resources. We actually have different co-op systems around the city that we welcome people from those areas of the city to sign up and actually welcome them to come drop off their food stamps and actually welcome them to be part of our weekly work days at the sites, and they actually can see the full process of composting, from the layering of the food, from turning to hydrating, and to see this beautiful rich compost that's being made. It's high quality amendment that usually comes from waste that would be thrown out into the garbage. It's turning to this beautiful resource, and it's hard as individuals sometimes, but there's...
So right now we're sitting on mulch or compost, right? Can you tell us what this all is?
So this pile has actually been here for close to 3 months now. It's closer to its curing phase. It's actually dark and rich because it's able to retain moisture. Compost, when it's closer being done, it is able to retain moisture. That's why we see the inner side of this compost still darker versus the outside. So what it's doing here, it's curing. It's stabilizing those temperatures to be under 100, so we can actually start using this compost in the garden.
Now, what if I have no backyard, no areas to compost? What should I do?
So there's different ways you can approach that. Of course, we mentioned that you can join our co-ops or our community garden spaces that have a 3-bin, and you can be part of that community that brings your food scraps in. Or there's also bokashi. Bokashi is a type of fermentation of food scraps that allows you to do it in small spaces and buckets, that it allows you to do it in an apartment. The end result just allows you to have a space that you can bury the excess organic matter, and that can happen in public parks, any green spaces that you know of. You can offer that to the soil.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the juicy information that you've given us, and I would like to thank you for having us here, well, for having you here actually. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for being present, and thank you for the time you committed for the GAP program. I think it's very important to have children, especially high schoolers that are out here in the school, to be connected to this, because my experience with you guys was beautiful and amazing. I always like to say that you guys were some of the best kids I've ever worked with because of the commitment and the way that you were brave enough to come into work, into this work that's not always the funnest or the cleanest or the nicest smells. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Megan because she provided that for us.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.